Right. Yeah. I mean, this is. Oh, go ahead, Ben.
Aimedis Virtual Hospital is a very important issue, by the way. It really allows us to connect Aimedis to the big players in the healthcare system. You know, this was one of the obstacles. I mean, as Michael said at the beginning, when you have several apps, this is a cardio app, this is diabetes app, and you go to the hospital, the doctor has already a system that he works on. So this will take time to have a look onto your phone or whatever kind of device you have, and then get that information out, and then you have somehow to transfer it to the hospital information system. And you know, so we want professionals to use our system. Therefore, we had a lot of discussions. Of course, we started with building APIs to connect our system to hospital information systems. But then at the end, it was kind of obvious and clear, and it even, you know, came out when we spoke with hospitals that they said, okay, we would be interested. And recently it was very specific. So we started to build this virtual hospital information system so that at the end, everyone that is on the platform, professional, patient, can really work on our platform without exiting it, without having problems with APIs. So everything works flawless and efficient. And I think even in terms of usability, our hospital information system will be really something great. It is built on a system that hasn't been used in healthcare before. We have some orientation. We had some orientation in the industry, in the automotive industries. So we have a very user-friendly experience to offer, and I think hospital professionals, we are ourselves hospital professionals, and the one that we know will like to use it, and it will really make things very effective in terms of transacting and interacting with each other.
Right. I mean, this is clearly the future of healthcare, and it's so exciting to hear about this project. I mean, I can't wait for something like this, but we're getting a number of questions from the audience. I'm just going to take one of those real quick. Digital Enthusiast is asking, how big is the market that Aimedis will revolutionize? Is it the global healthcare market, or is it even bigger than that? That's a great question.
Yeah, it's the global healthcare market, because you know, you cannot work with an e-health system in one country only. People are not only in one country. Let's imagine, you know, let's talk about my mother. She's living in Germany and then going to Slovenia or going to Spain for some time, and she has some chronic conditions that have to be taken care of. And that's what a lot of people do. They travel. So you cannot just have a system in one country, working in one country. It has to be global. Imagine you have a heart condition, you're in Thailand. People in Thailand, doctors in Thailand need your information. So the global market is our place, our working place. And we already have started to work on a global level. So we're not only Europe, but also in Africa and Asia and Middle East. We're now starting to conquer the United States market. So, yeah.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah, it's great because, you know, obviously when people travel, especially now, if you get sick and healthcare doesn't cover you in that region, you know, it's hard. And then the data being in all different places, it's so difficult. So this is really exciting. Peter Boda has a question. He's asking, how will the individuals be motivated to hold the tokens? Your idea is great. It helps the healthcare system, but why will private investors buy, hold, and sell the coin without any healthcare purpose?
So the thing about the token is, first, there is a staking model that we offer. So people that hold the token for a certain period of time, which is at least 6 months, will get tokens as a staking reward. That's very basic. Another thing is that we burn a certain amount of tokens. So it's a deflationary token, right? And what we haven't talked about yet, because it's not yet implemented in the application, but you know, let's talk about smartphones and the space. I have an iPhone and I got it, and it has 512 gigabytes of space, and I'm actually using 40 gigabytes of that. So what can we do with the space that users have on their phone? we will give them the option to share this space they have, right? To offer space for blockchain nodes for certain type of information that is encrypted, so they will not see it, they will not be able to access it, that's sure, and they will be paid in tokens. And thus the token will be deflationary, and also institutions, Ben said it correctly, so institutions that want to advertise on the platform, that access certain services on the platform, have to hold the token. So the amount of tokens that are floating freely in the ecosystem will continuously go down and make it a rare type of asset.
Got it. Okay. Ben, did you want to add anything there, or?
Well, I think Michael said the most. I mean, generally, we will have institutions holding a certain amount of tokens if they want to use, for example, our hospital information system. So they will have like a contract-based staking model. And as Michael said, we burn a certain percentage of token. That is, so for every advertisement payment, there will be a percentage burned. And we are talking about a very useful software that we are sure to onboard millions of people that can, benefit from healthcare services, and therefore will of course need the token. So we see definitely a high value of our token in the future.
Right. Yeah, great. And I just want to remind the audience to keep sending your questions. We've still got some time here. So I'm curious to know, are you guys already in talks or have partnerships going with some major healthcare providers that you can mention at all? And if not, it's okay. I'm just curious to know if there are partnerships in the works.
Well, we will release a list of partner hospitals. I mean, I think we mentioned some of them anyway. We have hospitals that we work in, of course, here in Europe, in Germany, where we are based, not anymore, but we were here. We were here when we started, and we were doctors here in the hospitals. So we have some hospitals that we work with here. But it reaches until Harare, with the Children's Hospital in Harare, for example. We have it's in Zimbabwe. We have our team in the Philippines working on partnerships with some bigger, but not only hospitals, even insurers. We are in talks with the AXA, for example, in Southeast Asia. Actually, there's a lot of interest from a lot of institutionals, even pharmaceutical companies. We did one experimental trial with a big pharmaceutical company, and there will be a lot of projects coming up with pharmaceutical companies. I think even the biggest interest is from pharmaceutical companies and insurers, but hospitals will use it as well, because it will just be in their interest to have better workflows, and we offer these support.
Right. And what about in terms of regulations? I mean, has that been a challenge, especially when it comes to data and collecting user data? How are you guys ensuring that the regulations don't hold this platform back?
The thing is that, as I've already addressed, this was one of our major focuses, because when you want to work internationally, you have to address the different legal areas, systems, regulations in Europe, as I said, GDPR in the United States, HIPAA compliance, or FDA compliance in some countries of Asia. So we addressed all that, which is difficult, and but that's not holding us back. The thing is, there is a demand, right? In the future, there will be people that don't have the possibility to go to a hospital. They will search for medical help. They will find an internet platform. Maybe they will find Aimedis. They need these services. Politicians regulators, governments, they have to adapt to this development. And especially in the so-called established Western world, in the United States, Europe, Germany, Netherlands, France, etc., you have certain regulations, but these regulations will, not all of them, but at a certain point, a lot of these regulations will be drawn back because there is a demand, right? There is a demand, and people will say, I need a video chat. I want to sell my data. I need a prescription. Do I have to die now? Do I have to be sick? Do I have to have pain? Or do I get it? Why is the regulation holding that back? And at a certain point, this will be established. That's not holding us back. We're just adapting, and we are adapting. Maybe on some parts, we're adapting very fast, very quickly. On some, we are maybe adapting slowly because some regulations are still there. But let's talk in 5 or 10 years, this situation will be a completely different one, and then we will be there.
By the way, I mean, we consider these problems, of course, from the beginning, and we have different strategies for different markets, of course. So we have an entirely different way to work in the Philippines than we do in Europe, and they are, of course, not the kind of obstacles that you will find here in Europe. So, but generally, we see a trend that supports all our aims in terms of regulations, because we see, I mean, we already have regulations in the US and in Europe that will step by step bring all the stakeholders on such kind of platforms. I mean, this is just the development, right? We're in a digitized world, and everyone that thinks that healthcare will be spared of these developments, I mean, he can do that, but it's not the reality. So even the regulators will be pushing hard towards a digitized healthcare space, and we are from the first. We are one of the first companies in this space, and I think therefore we will really benefit from these developments.